everybody. Joe Weisenfelder from Cars.com. Is it me or have things gotten a little weird? They have. I know you felt it. We at Cars.com have as well. We've been under a stay-at-home order for a while, first from our company and then from the governor here in Illinois, J.B. Pritzker. You might remember him from the Monopoly game. So I've been in my house for a week thinking I could really use a new venue. And lo and behold, here it is. It's the 2020 Hyundai Venue. There you go. There's another epidemic upon the land. It's dad humor. And I'm not even a dad, I hope. So, you know, a lot of things have changed, but some things haven't, which include the fact that we still are really into cars, and you probably are too if you're watching, or maybe you're considering buying one. And with the stress on the economy right now, a new affordable model like this one isn't a bad one to be checking out. So, I still got me, I got my gear, I got a new model people don't know much about. I say, let's do this. One of the obvious questions about the Venue is, what is it? And it's kind of an SUV, but we don't consider it one because it doesn't offer all-wheel drive. We kind of consider that the cutoff point. It's front-wheel drive only. And it fits into the Hyundai lineup kind of alongside the Kona, which is a subcompact SUV. But bear in mind that the Venue is shorter from bumper to bumper than the Kona, and also a little bit narrower. But it does look like an SUV, and I think that's probably going to help it out on the market because Americans prefer SUVs, largely because of the utility of having the hatch and sitting high, and all of that is here. All you don't have is the all-wheel drive. With the automatic transmission, it costs $19,670. That's $1,750 less than the Kona with front-wheel drive, so you can see the cost advantage right off the bat. Well, the Venue has one engine, and one engine only. It's a 1.6-liter four-cylinder, and it's not turbocharged. It has a rated 121 horsepower, 113 pound-feet of torque. That is not a lot. And it doesn't really feel like a lot either, but in a lot of cases, you don't need it. It's a relatively light car where Cars.com is headquartered here in Chicago. It's the flatlands, so without hills to climb, it doesn't really affect us that much. Did you hear that shifting? It revs up, and then it shifts down, and that's pretty impressive considering that this transmission is a continuously variable transmission. It's the only automatic available. There's a 6-speed manual available on the base SE. Everything else is a CVT. And they're designing these CVTs now to make that shifting action just because people were so freaked out by the fact that CVTs would just go into that drone mode and stay revving high without coming back down and making that shifting action. It's almost like seeing a baby climb up on something high. It's like, it's high, it has to come down, it has to come down. And everyone's like anxious if it doesn't come down or something like that. But overall, it's an efficient car. Something seems to be working. The EPA rating for combined driving is 32 miles per gallon, which is pretty good. So it's nice to have a modestly powered vehicle like this that actually delivers, because sometimes you get modestly powered vehicles that are also not so great on gas. So good there. Now, for what it's worth, there are drive modes. Sport mode actually makes it sportier feeling by keeping the revs higher. You're going to sacrifice some fuel efficiency this way, but it does make it more responsive all the time. It's actually a nicely executed mode. There's also a snow mode, which is good to have in a two-wheel drive car, and it makes the accelerator a little bit more sluggish, which actually helps prevent spinning your wheels. Overall, it's not a quick car, which is kind of a shame because there are no cars out here. I could go really fast right now, but I got nowhere to go. I don't have to go to work. I can't really go anywhere, and everything's closed. This might be the perfect car for a pandemic because it's not real quick and you can't go anywhere anyway. Handling overall is nice. The steering feel is good. It's not a sports car, but Pretty sophisticated suspension for an affordable car. The wheelbase is short, which can make for more body motions in a smaller car on bad pavement, but by and large, not bad. The advanced safety systems that are included are lane keep assist, which is nice. You can see it's actually kind of steering me a little bit back into my lane, and also a lane departure warning. If I let it go too far, it'll beep at me. Forward collision warning, here we go. Here's the beep. Forward collision warning with pedestrian detection and autonomous braking, and the blind spot warning and rear cross traffic alert, which is an option. Cruise control is included, but adaptive cruise control is not, which is unfortunate. One of the advantages to the SUV type shape, the boxy shape, is a lot of headroom, front and back. I'm 6 feet tall. I have the seat all the way up. It adjusts for height as well as fore and aft and tilt. And even with the optional moonroof that comes in the convenience package, optional convenience package, in this SEL, I still have clearance, which is great. Now, if you want extra clearance and you don't want the moonroof, that means you also have to do away with some other things like the sliding armrest here in the center, in the console, and a leather steering wheel. And also the rear cross traffic assist and blind spot. So if you might not want to give that up if you fit. Power seats are not available. They're all manual. Unfortunately, the passenger seat doesn't have a height adjustment, which is less of an issue for, fitting people in because of all the headroom. But some people like to sit higher. Unfortunately, not an option, but that's not out of the ordinary for an affordable car like this. Likewise, the interior quality, even in a loaded version like this, which is pushing about 24 grand, you're going to find some hard surfaces. That's typical, again, for the price range. Cabin storage is decent, couple of cup holders. The center storage console is pretty spare, pretty small. Door pockets, so-so, but nice little shelf here for things like your smartphone and such. Pretty nicely done. That brings us to the touchscreen, which is larger than average at 8 inches measured diagonally. Pretty nicely done. Now, it does have built-in navigation with real-time traffic alerts available on the SEL and standard on the Denim, which is one step up from this. And for what it's worth, we think the Denim interior is nicer. It just makes a better impression. Even though this is one of the high trim levels, it just doesn't feel as rich without the color. So another great thing is that the system supports standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is a must, especially in an affordable car like this. You get navigation essentially for free off of your phone. All you got to do is plug it in. The touchscreens are pretty clear to understand. Everything's laid out there, quick access buttons right below, and they are real buttons, not touch-sensitive things. There's a power volume knob, a tuning knob. So many cars don't have that. The ventilation controls, very clear. All really simple, exactly what you want. Here in the back seat, you see, again, the advantage in the headroom is great. It's especially great back here because the moonroof only comes back to about here, so you actually have more headroom in the back seat in a car with the moonroof. Now, legroom, not as great. I've got the seat where I had it to drive, which was all the way back and all the way up, and my knees are just touching. And they're raised a bit, which is unfortunate, but that's pretty common nowadays. Manufacturers put the seat a little bit lower because it buys you headroom. It seems unnecessary here. I think I would have preferred if the seat were higher and I could sit less on my tailbone. The Kona has maybe 4 or 5 tenths of an inch more legroom, so that's comparable. It's when you get into something like the Kia Soul where you get more legroom. It's a longer vehicle. It has about 4 inches more legroom. There's more comfort there. Not a lot of amenities back here. You might notice there's a net pocket here, but not one here. No means of charging your mobile devices. That's a bit of a bummer. But again, it's an affordable vehicle, and that's not out of the ordinary. The Venue's cargo area is pretty impressive for what it is. pretty small vehicle, but you get a good amount of space back here, and there are some neat tricks I'm going to show you. The cardboard cover is, you know, typical of inexpensive vehicles. It's unfortunate. But here's the thing, now it appears you don't have to remove it anymore. Necessarily. Look, it slides back like that. That's nice. Here's another one. Good amount of space, by the way. Comparable to the Kona behind the back seat, according to manufacturer specs, which are a little hard to trust. We just haven't had a chance to work this up yet. Now, here underneath the floor, a lot of good space. You got your spare tire, some tools. You can put stuff under there, sure. But here's another trick that we're starting to see a lot more of. If you slide this into a different channel, you can lower it. And now you have a whole lot more volume, and you can carry something taller, which is great. And also note how close you are to the back seat, so you don't need releases back here. You just reach forward and flip them. In that case, though, obviously you either have to put this back up or remove it, which is pretty simple. If you want more space, you are going to have to go for something like the Soul, which is longer and has a good deal more cargo volume. Overall, the new Venue is pretty impressive. We're not big fans of model after model being added to the market and to a lineup if it doesn't have a reason for being. And this one kind of skates by because it is front-wheel drive only, and it is smaller than some of the other vehicles in the Hyundai lineup. And it might be exactly what people are looking for nowadays, especially as the economy is under so much pressure that we didn't see coming just a few weeks ago. So worth checking out. Thanks for tuning in. We'll keep doing this as long as you keep watching. Thanks.